video that you guys may like. And I have most of the gear. I'm actually using some of the gear, so I don't have it to show, but I will talk about that later. This setup is going to be my long-term survival setup, or my long-term wilderness living setup, and that is to kind of give you guys a brief idea of what I would carry for being out for a month to probably 3 months. And while it may not sound like a long time, that is a pretty long time for wilderness living. And there are some givens. Generally, you want to work out of some long-term shelter, although that would be preferable. I do have the equipment here to construct semi-long-term shelters for 3 months, and it would be hard to say what months I'd pick, but probably this kit here is most geared to around, at least here in Alaska, about August, the beginning of August, to probably the end of October, maybe the beginning of November. And if you guys want, I can go into apparel or what I'd be wearing, but this is going to be the kit and the tools I'd be using over that duration of time if I was out there. And like I said, more or less just give you guys an idea of what all I'd be using. So guys, the first part of the pack is the backpack, of course. In here I would be carrying all stuff that I normally carry. Once again, you can go back to the pack contents to see that. I probably wouldn't be carrying film gear to lighten the load, but I would be carrying traps. And like I said, this is the part that I don't have to show, and that's because I'm currently using them because this is trapping season. So traps are actually out being used instead of here. So I can't show them, but what I would ideally carry for that time is probably 3 to 4 number 1 traps, and that's for small things like squirrels, mink, marten, all those kinds of smaller animals. And then I'd probably carry about 3 number 3 traps. And the reason why I like number 3s is because 3s are one of the most versatile, so you could say medium game. I mean, they can trap coyotes, fox, lynx, those types of animals, and those are going to be your true fur bearers for actually making clothing or for patching your clothing, because when you're out there for 3 months or so, your clothing will deteriorate. It's a fact that not a lot of people take into account, but it's a fact that you need to make more clothing, and you need leather from these animals to make that clothing, or at least patch your gear. So I would definitely carry 3 number 3s and at least 3 number 1s, which, like I said, they're all out there in the woods, but I do have all of that. Anyways, that would be what I'd additionally add to this pack. On board with this pack, I would be carrying around 500 rounds of .22, and I'll get into the tools, the hunting tools. You can probably already see one of them in the background, but I'd be carrying at least 500 rounds of .22 in here. Maybe not 500, maybe probably 400. But a decent amount of .22. I don't usually carry that much, but I probably carry, on average, in this pack, it probably has at least 200 rounds of .22 on average, so upgrading to 400 wouldn't be that much. And as long as I conservatively use the bow and the .22 when it's needed, I'm pretty sure I could just stay with 400 rounds of .22 over that. I'd probably have surplus at that time. So anyways, as you can see, the axe, of course. I'll be breaking down the tools now, and the first one, as you can see, the axe. The axe really nestles quite well in this pack. It's just where the Futura harness meets the actual pack. There's this little strap here that you can see, and it just sits like that pretty harmlessly, and you can rotate it like this and lock it down with the waist belt, and it stays really nice. But of course, this is the minimum I would take for an axe, because at a month to 3 months, you're definitely gonna be doing some serious firewood processing to construction or revamping of shelters or long-term shelters. So I would definitely minimum take a 26-inch handled axe, like the Swedish forest axe there. Here's the pack. For knives, I think I have to take this down. For knives, I'd be carrying the Bark River Bushcrafter and the Heli-Egan as just craft knives, making things, and then this as a larger kind of just field craft overall, just general purpose knife for skinning, gutting, and just doing everyday necessities. So that's the tools, nothing too elaborate with them. Of course, I'd probably also be carrying a Surge multi-tool for repairs on all the other tools, although most of this kit does not use screws. The 22 that you can just barely see all the way back, which I will get to, does have screws, and over the 3 months I've never tested that hard, so I'm not sure if anything would go down on it, but if anything did, having the Surge, I could unscrew, take down, and at least diagnose the problem that it would be having. So other than that, I'd also probably be carrying the regular folders that you see around my channel, which are the Benchmade Adamas, or 275 Adamas, and the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And that's pretty much all the cutting tools, or non-hunting related really tools. The next part would be my recurve. Once again, using this, or using the recurve and kind of balancing it with the 22, I think I could use this and that to kind of share all the hunting. This, of course, is a 50-pound recurve, and this could take moose. Bear would be pushing it, but it could take bear. It could take any large game animals in Alaska. So this would be my choice for the recurve, or for the bow. And of course, with bows and arrows, although I would be starting off with these carbon arrows and a nice string, I can always make strings out there. I can make arrows. I can make everything here except for this bow body. So really sustainable. And then all the way in the back, the 22, as you guys see a lot. Once again, like I said, I'd be balancing probably pretty much all the small game hunting on the 22, and all the large game with that, and some small game with the recurve. So that's kind of my long-term setup there. I don't change a whole lot from my normal setup, but that is because I constantly try to practice, or get pretty close to practicing, what I would carry in a long-term situation, so that I'm more adjusted to going and carrying a little bit extra gear and all that. So anyways, guys, I'm out.